Humans! We of the avian community have been avid partners with your kind on this earth, mostly because bread, but also because you got some sweet tunes and solid beer specials. Without you, this old earth would just be us and the fucking squirrels, and I don't know if you've ever hung out with a squirrel. It's a lot. It's jittery. It's nuts, man. Okay. But we have been cool with y'all in all of this, though we kind of shouldn't be because y'all got grills and basty sauces. But we have managed to forge agreements, us and you. We have an understanding, and in turn, we can get back to understanding you, which I am fond of doing. Quid pro quo, because you're really interesting species. You do interesting shit, like axe throwing at breweries, which should not work in theory, but it does. It's fun. Darwin wasn't always right. Fucked up math in his time. Drown that oatmeal stout and hurl some cleavers. Let's fucking go. We love the system. We got you do you, we do us, so we can watch you do shit that's interesting, is what I'm saying. And sure, we birds haul ass at the slightest noise, fast movement, but that's just nature, man. We're born this way. It doesn't mean we're always right to flee. We're not paranoid. We're just always on alert. It's baked into our guts, mostly because the rest of you want to bake our guts or fry them, depending on the occasion. Yeah, there's canaries in the coal mine, sure, but that's their fucking job, man. What I'm saying is, we do us, you do you, everybody gets a seat. But when we get a feeling, a vibe, a little twitchy suspicion that you might be leaning a little hard on your end of the table, though we'd rather keep this grand evolutionary arrangement going, we gotta say something. And that's why I'm here. Mostly because I lost the coin toss, but also because I feel like we got something going on here. I can be honest with you. Mutual shared respect. Can I really be myself, you know? Are you really sure you want to bring back Chi-Chi's? Some of you may not be familiar, having never grown up in the suburbs of the Midwest, so let me elaborate. For a good part of the year, it gets really fucking cold, and around that time, there's no real comfortable way to eat in nature, so you humans retreat to indoor activities like arcades, movies, and the aforementioned beers and axe throwing. And you do it a lot for a long period of time, usually until May, when it's finally above 30 degrees. But don't get cocky. The weather is a vengeful elder god out here, and it could turn cruel on a whim, which, as far as I can tell, is why you have football season, because you got to appease them all the way up to the Super Bowl or the old ones will rise again. It's a complicated system, but it works, as far as I can tell. But in that time, you still got to eat, and when it's eating, you like to pretend you are anywhere but where you are, because as I said, it's fucking cold and haunted out. So you made eating spots themed to places you would rather be, like the Olive Garden, the Longhorn Steakhouse, the Outback, and up until 2004, Chi-Chi's. The year was 1975. Captain and Tennille, Earth, Wind, and Fire, flared leg, bell sleeve jumpsuits, clean-cut All-American activewear, and Gerald Ford was president because reasons. America looked like it smelled like Pall Malls and beer. Everything was carpeted as All in the Family echoed through the mid-century modern living room while the children frolicked betwixt the boomerang sofas and water drop chairs. 'Twas a musty, magical time to be a human, and yet the weather raged on and new comforts were craved, and you Midwestern-flavored humans discovered the wonder that is Tex-Mex. Now, Tex-Mex is complicated. And it goes back a ways to the chili con carne of the chili queens of San Antonio. Even farther back to the Habsburg Spanish claim of New Spain. Even farther back to the Native Americans. But what isn't? Texas and Mexico. Wars and colonization. Humans figuring, hey, that's a pretty sweet yard. Mind if I hang out? JK, it's mine now, chump. And after all that, as far as I can tell, in the 1890s, this German guy named Willie Gephardt comes to Texas, gets all horny for cumin, after hanging out with the Tejanos, which are humans of Mexican descent living in Texas, and created his own blend of ancho, chili, black pepper, oregano, and cumin, called it Gephardt Eagle Chili Powder, sold the first canned chili and commercial chili powder, while the Antonio Chili Stand made its way to the Chicago World Fair, scaring the straits. Meanwhile, Otis Farnsworth of Chicago made his way to San Antonio, where this cumin thing was fucking raging, started the trend of serving an entree alongside rice and beans, calling it the regular, inventing the flagship of the mutant hybrid Q-mania of Tex-Mex called the combo platter. enchiladas, fajitas, chili, and this wild idea from a guy named Ignacio Anaya Garcia. When a bunch of military wives from Texas wanted cocktails in Mexico at the El Moderno, a.k.a. the Victory Club, and he came up with a fast appetizer out of fried tortillas, cheese, and jalapenos, which was a hit, because duh, creating the special forever that would carry his nickname, the Nacho. It's true. Gets even crazier. There's Moroccan influences, too. And the aforementioned Native Americans. And then white people drowned it in sour cream because it was still too spicy. Flash fry forward to 1975. Tex-Mex has made its way to the Midwest, where it's cold, probably because of Chicago, you're welcome. And Minnesotan Marno McDermott, having sold his first Mexican-inspired food line, Zapata, later renamed Ortega, the restaurants then becoming Santiago, and then Taco Bell conquered them all into oblivion. And he sold it to the German ready-made beverage company called Hugh Blaine, which owned the distribution rights to A1 steak sauce, Grey Poupon, KFC, and something called Hereford's 30 Proof Cows, which was a milk booze in a variety of flavors. Steak sauce, mustard, almost chicken, and a German milk hooch? It doesn't get more Midwestern than this. And he, Marno McDermott, decides to go in on a Tex-Mex inspired escapist eatery for freezing butter junkies with a legendary Green Bay Packer ended punter, Max McGee. Sidebar, did you know that Max McGee scored the first touchdown in the Super Bowl history while he was hungover and delirious after spending the night partying with flight attendants in LA? Yeah, some heroes are not made, they're drunk. And in August of 1976 in Richfield, Minnesota, the first ever Chi-Chi's opened to the public. Now, what is a Chi-Chi's? First off, it's named after Marno McDermott's wife, Chi-Chi, and not the Spanish slang for boobs, although it also kind of is. Not that that matters in the Midwest. They got come and goes spelled like you assume it would not be. Chi-Chi's. Boobs. Chi-Chi's on the face looks like a terracotta cast of the Alamo, so we're already clutching some cultural pearls here. And on the inside, you're magically whisked away to a San Antonio-themed supper club in an airport. The menu, tantalizing you with exotic flavors like, quote, char-broiled, and, quote, lightly touched by Tex-Mex barbecue sauce. It's the LaCroix of San Antonian German Minnesotan cuisine. The flavors were inspired by Sonora, a state in the northwestern region of Mexico, featuring a cuisine known for having, quote, subtle, less spicy seasoning, because it's Minnesota and we don't want to scare anybody. But if you're not in de humor for chili pie, chicken and cheese, or seafood enchiladas, you can hit up the Cantina for the Margarita Fiesta or the Chi-Chi, which is vodka, coconut, and pineapple. And if you're starting to feel like maybe this place is themed like a birthday party for a clown at a rodeo, and you want to live a little more moss, you can order the Tex-Mex items, which were designated thus because they were, quote, spicier, which is double strange because it's all supposed to be Tex-Mex. But is it? No! Whatever. Settle in for a night of everything covered in hot cheese. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that there's more to life. After $2 million in their opening year, the chain kind of couldn't find its fiesta on the East Coast, West Coast, the South. Just kind of stayed in the Midwest. Why? Because it's fucking cold, and you'll take it. Living its American dream until 2003 when it filed for bankruptcy before the chain was hit with the largest hepatitis outbreak in American history. Woo hepatitis, guys. 666 victims and 4 actual deaths. Settled in 2004 and sold and consumed by its own brethren, the Outback Steakhouse. And 20 years later, they're stirring in the distance. A strange feeling on the breeze. The hard smell of char-broiled meats and mild salsa shaking the vibe. December 4th, 2024, it was announced that after 20 years, Chi-Chi's will be resurrected from the deep, pulled forth back into existence from the ether for all to witness. But I say to ye, listen to the birds, humans. You don't need to. Out of all the concepts you've had, all the progress you've made, do you want to get back to Chi-Chi's? Is it that bleak that you crave Diet Tex-Mex? It's not even cultural appropriation because that steals something from something. It's neither Tex nor Mex. It's Midwestern spiced cheese. Do you need more con carne? Do you need more con queso? Haven't ye had enough? Are ye that starved for Mexican pizza and seafood nachos? Have you learned nothing from the diarrhea that you would dare open the book and summon Chi-Chi's back into being? A franchise co-owned by a footballer who got lucky because he was hungover, not to mention it was co-brought to Minnesota by a Green Bay Packer. That's cursed language. Nature selected Chi-Chi's for extinction. And now your human corporate restaurant chain were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. You have access to actual, real, authentic Mexican cuisine everywhere, but oh no, you gotta have the fucking fried ice cream. But hear me out, you can make it at home. All you gotta do is roll some Breyers and cinnamon and cornflakes, freeze it for an hour, and then fry it. There, you're the Chi-Chi's. Pour some queso on your head. Dip yourself in sour cream. Roll yourself in the beigest of seasonings as your German Minnesotan ancestors of yore did before you, but dare not raise the dead. Repent! Repent! I offer my body as tribute. The agreement be damned. Eat me, roast me, shred me into tinga con crema. Save yourselves. The Chi-Chi's will be upon ye. The Chiharitas will rise again, and we will drown in glory and the terrifying wonder of salsification. I love you. Good night.
Nailed it.